It's now been about 2 weeks since we were introduced to Marvel Snap's Battle Mode, and as a result, there's been tournaments left and right already, including some of our own coming very, very soon. While there have been only a few big events so far, the community has definitely showed their love for competing through small cash tournaments, and several content creators have held their own invitational kind of cups. As a result, today we want to take a look at the differences between the ladder in Marvel Snap when you're trying to rank up, and the current tournament environment that is slowly coming to fruition through these events that are taking place, and give you an idea of what you should be looking to do if you're looking to take home those cash prizes in some of those tournaments. If you enjoy this type of content, the best thing you can do for me is like the video. Make sure you leave a comment down below for us as well, and if you haven't already, do subscribe to the channel and make sure you aren't missing out on anything coming out of Marvel Snap Zone here each and every day. So this won't be exactly like the tier list. At the moment, it's kind of hard to say a metagame is forming in the tournaments of Marvel Snap, but we can see some trends starting to come to fruition already. We've seen some archetypes post great performances just across the board, but the best of one format seems to be the norm currently, and that creates a lot of volatility regarding deck performances. The name of the game when it comes to tournament Marvel Snap definitely seems to be flexibility more than raw power, a trait that tends to be less important when it comes to laddering. For example, the discard archetype, the most popular deck on the ladder since MODOK joined the game, is struggling pretty heavily in the tournament environment. The same can be said about a deck like Mr. Negative, for example, as neither archetype has reported a single tournament win so far. In the meantime, the Thanos Good Cards deck has won 2. Death Wave and Death Pool have won 1 each, and so have Devil Dinosaur and She-Hulk combo decks among the tournaments that we're currently aware of. The big hit here is Galactus. The need to be unpredictable is really big for this deck, which makes Galactus much stronger on the ladder than it has been in tournament play so far. If you face an opponent that has natural counters to you or just a copy of Aero, your tournament really could be quite short. Shuri Zero, although one of the strongest decks on the ladder, it hasn't reported a tournament win yet. The reason for that is Shang-Chi and Aero are everywhere, and that limits the deck's potential quite a lot. The Good Cards Devil Dinosaur deck is losing to more synergistic builds on the ladder, and it seems that the Darkhawk version is needed to kind of rack up the cubes consistently, but tournament play has been very good for the Devil Dinosaur package, as the archetype has a lot of room to play with when it comes to adapting to opponents. Last but not least, Location, a deck that arguably hasn't been seen on the ladder whatsoever, shining in the tournament format. Disruptive strategies, they're struggling on the ladder as they only tend to draw 1 cube retreats from a lot of people, as opponents realise they won't get to develop their strategies later on. But in battle mode, 1 cube retreats are really powerful, as it still gives you a nice edge going into the high stakes rounds later on. Before we go talking about the cards that are making a splash in tournament play, I want to remind you that the deciding factor should probably always be comfort in a high stakes environment. Always build your strategy around concepts you feel confident in and that you think you understand. With that out of the way, let's look at the 2 key elements in tournament play so far: flex packages and tech cards. A flex package is a group of cards included in your deck to fill a certain role. That role can be points, it can be location flexibility, it can be disruption, or it can really be anything you like. As long as you feel this is what your deck should be doing, feel free to invest cards towards that goal. Currently, here are some of the strongest flex packages in the game, which you'll recognise as foundations to several popular archetypes. The Devil Dinosaur package can be as small as Quinjet, Sentinel, White Queen, Moon Girl, and Devil Dinosaur. If you want an energy saving package, you can make that as small as Sunspot, She-Hulk, and Armor if you like. If you want to be able to disrupt your opponent, you can narrow that down to cards like Polaris, Aero, and Magneto if you prefer. Alternatively, you can have a package built into your deck that lets you play around hard-to-access locations, with cards like Scarlet Witch, Mr. Fantastic, or even Doctor Doom. You can even go a little bit further and include dedicated packages to big, well-known payoff cards in your deck. Thanos Lockjaw, for example, can really be tightened up to be as small as Thanos, Lockjaw, and Quinjet by themselves. A control package, if you want to be reactive to your opponents, really can just be Killmonger, Enchantress, and Shang-Chi. If you want to ramp, all you've got to do is include Electro and Wave in your deck, And you can even go as deep as including a Darkhawk package if you like, and sliding in Korg, Rockslide, and Darkhawk. Of course, you're never going to combine all of these packages together in the same deck, but you can see that taking a selection of these and slotting them into your current existing strategies to make them more flexible really can benefit you in battle mode if you're looking to be more flexible against an unknown opponent. The second category here very much is tech cards included in your deck for specific styles of matchup. In that case, we're going to be looking at cards that punish certain strategies and allow us to get some easy snaps and some free cubes during the match. When the synergies going on are in between cards of the same package, a tech card is able to function all by itself as long as the desired situation arises. A card like Armor, for example, when playing against a destroy-based deck, maybe Cosmo, when playing against decks that have discard synergies or impactful on reveals. Killmonger is a house against all these decks that care about playing one-cost cards. Enchantress against all the ongoing decks. Shang-Chi against Shuri-based decks, and honestly anyone with big cards. And a card like Leech is a incredible tech piece to shut down these turn 6 combo decks. Looking at the early results, it seems like generic flexible packages have done great so far. Today, I'd like to just have a quick look at some of those tournament winners to wrap up the day and show you some of the things out there that are already winning cash. The tech card of choice really appears to be Shang-Chi at the moment, as nearly everyone has 1 or 2 targets over the course of a game. We've got Trek at Stab's list here, this Thanos deck you see with a Darkhawk package in baked, going as far as eschewing the Korg and the Rockslide, and just enabling Darkhawk as a powerful card all by itself inside of this existing Thanos shell. Quinjet putting in work here, Daredevil giving you information every single game and letting you maximize the power of a card like Arrow and Shang-Chi can often go a very long way. We've then got Wender at Armor Snap's list. Kind of interesting She-Hulk combo deck found here. Kind of a linear game plan that has a lot of room for flexibility. We've got access to an effect like Magic to buy you extra time, but we've also got cards like Armor to counteract our opponent. Magic is naturally fantastic at going above Shuri 0 by giving yourself an extra turn to work with, and once again Quinjet just shining in there alongside Moon Girl to allow you a very prominent proactive package. Love to see cards like Green Goblin, Viper, the Hood slotted in, just gaining some natural game against decks like Galactus and screwing around with opponents who need access to their board space. Everzord took home the prize at Sakaar Arena, a very similar story once again over here. Noticeable more again for these packages that are sliding in everywhere. Thanos and Quinjet showing up once more. Shang-Chi, Cosmo, Armor, Daredevil, perfect examples of the tech cards we're talking about, rounded out by a pile of powerhouses with She-Hulk, Magneto, Arrow, doing what they do best and dominating in Marvel Snap. The story's quite similar in an event called Snap Twice, where only pools 1, 2, and 3 were allowed. Torikun took this one home with a variation on Deathwave, and this list looks pretty stock, truth be told. Interesting to see Mysterio making the cut here, and Shang-Chi being the tech card of choice, but this deck definitely shines in a format like Battle Mode games, because again, you already have a natural in-baked tech card in the form of Killmonger, you have space to access a card like Shang-Chi, and you have a powerful proactive game plan of your own to play into any opponent. Wave is a fantastic card, enabling your game plan and ruining several of your opponents. Last but not least, Poseidon succeeded over in the Battle Arena Showdown. Once again, this really powerful energy-saving package being tucked into a ramp shell here. She-Hulk, Sunspot, Armor, these are all cards you're starting to see all over the place. Again, really good at accessing wide locations here. Magneto to move your opponent's stuff around. Doctor Doom to access locations that might be hard to access otherwise. And of course, tech cards making an appearance. Leech showing its dirty face here, dominating against those turn 6 combo decks and making sure they can't go over the top of you when you ramp out your cards. Hopefully this has been a little bit of insight for you so far about how things are shaping up in the Marvel Snap metagame when it comes to tournaments. It really does seem like flexibility is king so far, and we look forward to seeing if that remains the case as more and more tournaments take place. Until next time, I have been HowlingMines, you've been amazing, and this has been Marvel Snap Zone. Take care. Have a good one.